Anything you are doing and you are actually not considering Black Americans before doing it, especially as an immigrant, as Hispanics, Asian, Mexican, like whatsoever that you are not considering, even especially as a white person, you're not considering Black Americans, or you think that Black Americans do not really matter, your opinion do not really matter, your fan base do not really matter. Yes, you've gotten everything you want and you can actually just fly on the air. Ask questions. Ask questions. Because the video you're about to watch is the video of a popular celebrity that actually F around and find out. Yes, she started it. She made it look as if her fan base were not important, especially the Black Americans. Their feelings were not important. She went into the advert, did everything that she wanted to do until a lot of Black folks started boycotting, shutting down her business. And now she's coming into realization. Let me tell you guys, it didn't only end here. She's now sending an apology. Watch this video. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we're having at this episode. And yes, with that being said, let's dive right into this video. I'll be back with commentaries. Thank you for always supporting. Let's go.
The only reason Sydney Sweeney would denounce hate and divisiveness in December following Backlash from July is because she's losing money. I honestly think she had a conversation with Scooter Braun where he said, listen, if you can rebrand yourself to pretending like you give a shit. Sydney said the words, when I care about an issue, you'll hear from me, and we did not hear from her for months. So now she's rebranding because she's realized while she's on this press tour, she has not been able to avoid the backlash, and it has followed her probably in a way she didn't expect. So she's trying to act like she was against what people were saying about her, or that she even cared enough to do it in the first place, which she didn't. It took her like 5 months. She says she doesn't support the views. She was surprised by the reaction. She did it because she loves the jeans and loves the brand. I don't support the views. Some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. This to me is like air. I'm against hate and divisiveness. Okay. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press. So when things like eugenics are branded as negative, we need to ask ourselves, what the fuck are we saying? I just don't want to associate with negative energy. That's a very common cop-out to never talk about things like racism, to be like, you're just so negative, right? So to brand it as negative is interesting. And it already sort of tells you how she really feels. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide in my bank account, not closed it. Just kidding, I added the bank account part, but we read that. We're not stupid. So I hope this new year brings more money, sorry, she said focus, on what connects us instead of what divides us. As if, sorry, as if you gave a fuck. With her tucked in hair, like, yeah, I just wear jeans. And when I care about something, you'll hear from me. You'll hear about it, boo. If not, I don't care. We heard that. Listen, I would need to know what her immediate reaction to the backlash was, because I think the fact that it took this long just makes it feel pretty inauthentic. I just feel like it's obvious that it's for money. The same way, like, the bath soap. Like, I just don't trust her motives, given the history of, like, bath soap for men and things that were said. Like, it's just hard to separate what's already been said and the character that's already been built. Well, but also the thing is, people are calling this as an apology. It's not an apology. Saying I'm against hate is not, that's nothing. I love bringing people together. She means she has parties. Like, and that's what she means, though. She's like, look at all the Halloween parties I throw. Like, I love bringing people together.
Aw, somebody's feeling the repercussions of their actions for that American Eagle ad and doubling down on it, having movies flop and Zendaya not wanting to be around you, and now you want to walk back what you did. Sydney Sweeney tells people that she doesn't support the views that people connected her American Eagle campaign to. I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and love the brand. I don't support the views. Some people choose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I've come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. Because I'm sure someone that did a MAGA Blue Lives inspired party theme wasn't trying to soft launch a MAGA career, but when she realized quickly that they weren't going to support her like she thought, now she's trying to walk it back and try and be for all the people and not have divide. But when the time came, remember you had an interview and you looked so disinterested and dejected and your hair looked messed up. You've been making those statements, Sydney, so don't walk it back now. We know who you are.
As Sydney Sweeney has made the decision to finally address the American Eagle ad that was released in July, mind you, she also had the opportunity during a GQ interview to actually address some of this and said, when I have something that I need to say, you'll hear it. But now, after a movie has flopped, another one's not doing well, they're talking about not shooting her in certain scenes in Euphoria. Everybody thinks that racism is black and white, but something I learned very early on is it's also green. Because the reality for Sydney Sweeney, and I think a lot of people in the entertainment space, is recognizing that while the right and Republicans and MAGA might be art critics, they are not art consumers. The woke are the art consumers, and the anti-woke only talk about art, but they're not spending their money, their time, and their energy actually consuming the art critically. When you're Sydney Sweeney, or you're participating in a play, or you're a musician, what you say and don't say in regards to politics matters, especially when the ones who oftentimes are consuming are the ones who you are in so many ways alienating with your personal political positions. And the reality is the length of silence and the opportunities that Sydney had to say something and didn't mean that this particular statement she's released not only was not well written, but comes across as very hollow and seems reactionary to losing green, trying to align with alt-right white. And what I did say a couple months ago is I am concerned about if more and more white entertainers find themselves at home with MAGA. And the reality is they could be at home with MAGA ideologically, but when it comes down to the money, they need to realize who actually buys the stuff, because cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar dollar bill, y'all. So whether you're Sydney Sweeney or Christian Chenoweth or any other artist who is either vocally or silently aligning yourself, this right here should be a good lesson for everyone to learn. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
So Sydney Sweeney just got on the internet basically backtracking about that American Eagle jean ad. Mind you, y'all, that ad came out in July. It is now December. And she came on and she was just like, I want to talk about it. I just feel like a lot of rumors and accusations, baseless accusations, was thrown around about it, and that's not true. And what people are saying that it stands for, that's not what it stands for. And I don't agree with the stances that are being made about me. I'm going to put a latex glove on, and then I'm going to hold your hand with a napkin in between when I say this. The reason you're saying this, the reason you're backtracking, because remember in that interview you said the ad spoke for itself, and when you have something to say, you'll say it. Let's be rooted in reality. The reason you are backtracking is because it's messing with that money. See, those last two films were flops, and not only that, there are rumors that they're cutting a lot of your scenes from Euphoria. Racism's expensive. I don't know why a lot of y'all like to forget that. Real expensive. And now that it's messing with your pockets, now you feel the need to say nothing. Nah, keep it. Stand in your MAGA.
MAGA no more. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and Scooter Braun's girlfriend, Sydney Sweeney, is not just a registered Republican, but in 2025, she has been heralded by many on the right as a superstar in the MAGA movement. Megyn Kelly went on and on recently about how brilliant Sydney Sweeney is because while being interviewed by GQ, she said nothing about this other than, I made a jean ad. The infamous jean ad from earlier this year where she had good jeans, and many people took that to be racially insensitive, to put it lightly. And it blew up and became quite the brouhaha. Even reality TV icon Donald Trump chimed in on this and specifically called out Sydney Sweeney and his support for her. Well, she said nothing during her GQ interview just a few weeks ago, but it seems that now Sydney Sweeney has had a change of heart. I was honestly surprised by the reaction, Sweeney tells People magazine, about the response to this campaign. I did it because I love the jeans and love the brand. I don't support the views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Sweeney now tells People that she is someone who leads with kindness and that she's addressing the campaign backlash to clarify her stance and dispel negativity. She adds, anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. I think this next bit is the most important part. Listen up. In the past, says the Euphoria star, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press. But recently, I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So, I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. Aww. I think that's a lovely sentiment. And I can hear MAGA folks having a meltdown over it, right? So, what do you think of this new statement from Sydney Sweeney? Do you support it? Too little, too late? Are you upset at her for not standing by her convictions or caving into pressure? I can fully imagine a wide range of reactions. Let's discuss it all in the comments section.
Sydney Sweeney finally put out a statement saying that she wasn't racist. And my question is, what took you so long? Because when I think she literally said, hey, I took the ad because I like the brand. And there were a bunch of people who attached themselves to it, who made it something it wasn't, and like a lot, and have beliefs that I don't condone. That's what she said. Okay, very simple. The very same thing she should have said when that interviewer asked her if she wanted to clear it up. So I'm cracking up because now Sydney Sweeney stands are the same people who are like, no, it's good. Like, she should never say anything. She should never respond to it. Now they're like, oh yeah, see, now this is a good response. And here's the thing. I know what people are going to do. People are going to be like, oh, see, this is just proof that nobody would ever be satisfied. Look, I admit, people in general would not be satisfied after seeing that. She could have apologized immediately. People wouldn't be satisfied. I'm telling you, people who are genuinely looking at it impartially, okay? Not like, crazy 2025 group thing. I was looking at it like, hey, I don't think the ad was racist. White supremacists definitely attached themselves to the ad. I don't think the ad was racist itself. That she had this interview where they asked her if she wanted to clear it up. She didn't clear it up. Uh-oh, that looks a little bit sketchy, right? And look, I never said she needed to put out her own little statement, but I'm like, if you're asked about it directly, you can quite simply say, hey, I don't align with those things. So the fact that she didn't is suspicious, okay? So it's like, people are gonna say that like, oh, you guys are just never satisfied. But no, it's like she continuously did things that made it more suspicious. So it makes this statement much harder to believe. Like, I'm gonna use this situation as an example, okay? When it first broke out, I was like, hey, I don't think the ad is racist. And at every single turn, no matter what happened, I said, I don't think the ad itself was racist, right? Imagine instead of making that clear, I was just like, oh man, white supremacists, they're aligning themselves with the ad. That's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And I talked about it. And then stuff with her in that interview came out and I talked about the the interview more and I was like, uh-oh, it's kind of suspicious. But I waited until now to tell you that I didn't think the ad itself was racist. Wouldn't it look like I was kind of backtracking? Like, wouldn't it look like I was changing my mind? Because why didn't I just say that immediately? You know what I mean? And again, like, say people were in the comments like talking about like, oh, like it's not racist, blah, 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 and I didn't confirm that I didn't think it was racist. People would be like, oh, well, when people were saying that you thought it was racist, you didn't deny it, huh? It seemed like it'd be very simple for you to be like, no. And the thing is, even that's different, because I can make the argument for just ignoring my comment section, period. But she was in an interview and she was asked directly about it, and she completely avoided the question. I don't know who her PR is, but they should be fired. Because things, I do genuinely feel bad if that's how they told her to respond, because they thought like that would go over better. See, because again, if she apologized right there, me and I'm gonna say many other people, obviously the majority of the people who are mad about it would just be mad about it because that's how the internet is. But there's many people like me who, if she in that moment would have been like, did I say apologize? She didn't need to apologize. But if in that moment she was like, hey, I didn't perceive it like that, I didn't think it came across like that, people are making it something it's not, I would have been like, boom, not racist. I would have been like, there's no proof of racism whatsoever. I would have been flying that flag. But now, me and people like me are gonna be a bit suspicious of that. You know what I'm saying? So before the Sydney Sweeney stands come and pretend that I'm being unfair, you understand what I'm saying. Ignoring the question in an interview just to answer it later after your movie flops is a bit suspicious, you know? And look, I need y'all to understand, I understand the concept of like not, like if the internet is just internet outrage, you don't need to put out a statement. That's what I'm saying. I didn't need her like mentally to put out a statement in order for me to be like, hey, you know, she might not be racist. But in an interview, where they straight up ask you, they essentially ask you if the ad is about genetic superiority, essentially asking you if you're racist, and you can't just say no. Like, this is not some random person on the street. Like, this is an interview you agreed to do, and that you know is gonna be put on the internet.
So Sydney Sweeney is having the worst week of her career, and here's why. First, 2 of her movies flopped back to back, and now she's about to drop her 3rd project, The Housemaid, but the buzz around it isn't looking good either. And then out of nowhere, she drops an apology about her American Eagle ad. But here's the catch. It's not really an apology. She never actually said sorry, she never took accountability, and she never addressed the real issues. It was more like a quiet attempt to shift the narrative right before promo season for her new movie. But wait, here's where it gets wild. Turns out, American Eagle straight up dropped her. Yep, the same brand she tried to stand by after all the backlash. They said nah, and replaced her with none other than Martha Stewart. Yes, you heard that right, Martha Stewart, an 84-year-old woman. She's literally just showing up, wearing denim, smiling, and bringing zero drama. So, not only did Sydney lose the campaign, but she got replaced by someone's grandma.
Sweeney did an interview with People magazine talking about her American Eagle campaign, and yeah, she's kind of backtracking at this point. She said, I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and love the brand. I don't support the view some people choose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I've come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. I feel like she's only saying this now because she got some backlash when she talked about this campaign with GQ. People are apparently not watching her movies. I mean, I know I'm not. I wasn't really a huge fan of her before this whole controversial campaign came out. But it's kind of like, girl, this discourse has been going on for a long time. Like, people kind of forgot about it. So it's like the fact that you do this now, girl, it's just a little.
Well, hell must have froze right on over, and Sydney Sweeney's publicist must have finally clocked into her shift, because it looks like she's finally speaking out in regards to the American Eagle ad. She tells People magazine, I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and I love the brand. I don't support the view some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. She tells People magazine she's someone who leads with kindness. And that she's addressing the campaign backlash to clarify her stance and dispel negativity. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. aka my movie flopped and I need to save my career. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. Because the truth of the matter is, you had an opportunity, that an interview perfectly set up for you to address this, and you chose to be smug and not give a fuck. But because obviously it's affecting your career and you have these new movies coming out and the studio's probably putting pressure on you to finally say something, now something's being said because it's actually affecting your income and your job, okay? So now you care when it affects you, but you didn't care when it affected everybody else, did you? And I know some people are gonna say, well, aren't you just happy she finally said something? Like, why are you never satisfied? I already know it, I see it coming. Here's the thing, I mean, it's good that she said something, I guess, but like, the tonality of that to me just gave, she's trying to say that like what people came to their own conclusions, she doesn't align with that. But it doesn't change the fact that you were part of a eugenics ad. This is just like the bare minimum bullshit ass, like here damn ass statement that I've ever heard, because she needs to do this, obviously. Like, it is what it is. I'm still not watching the movies. I don't give a fuck, because you had all the time in the world. The last thing I will probably ever be watching of yours is Euphoria, and you better thank Zendaya for that, because anything else that you're in, girl, will not be sat. Sorry. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, and make sure to follow me for more pop culture content.
Is frying me about the whole Sydney Sweeney People magazine exclusive isn't that the apology came too late, which it did, right? Anybody worth their salt doing PR would tell you that PR, particularly when you're talking about crisis PR, is all about timing, and they missed the boat on the apology. That's not the thing that's frying me, though. The thing that's frying me is that it's very clear that whoever made their press release that they sent over to People magazine about Sydney Sweeney, they shoved 3 different PR press release topics into one and told people to run it. Like, that exclusive is literally 3 features shoved together. You get the apology as one feature, then they get to talking about the housemaid, and then at the end you get like a fluffy personality rebrand thing. All 3 of those should have been their own feature. At this point, I have to wonder, is Sydney Sweeney's team just inept, or do they hate her ass? Because that apology should have been the main feature, especially considering the fact that she waited so long to do it. And after that whack-ass GQ answer that she gave, the apology should have been the only thing in that article. And then a couple days later, you can come out with another cute little feature about how she loved working on The Housemaid. And then a couple days after that, you drop, the she's just like everybody else rebrand. To shove everything into one? Ooh. Now, you might be wondering why I'm thinking that her rebrand is going to be the I'm just like everybody else, I'm a girl next door, I love everyone, love me back. And it's mainly based on the questions that were asked of her at the end of that article and how she responded. But also, like half an hour ago, her team dropped a headline saying that she is denying any and all plastic surgery allegations. Now, pop quiz, where is plastic surgery suddenly becoming very prevalent? Yeah, that's the way that she's going to distance herself from that group of people. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, she is not going to come right out and confirm or deny.
Sydney, don't walk it back now. You can't walk back all that. You don't remember all that attitude you had when you was like, if I have something that I want to say, I'm going to say it. Where was all these apologies 4 movies ago? Now, suddenly, because you realize that community ain't finna support you, and that they was really just capping for the internet, which is what they all do. They trying to just get hit tweets. They ain't going to see your movies, especially ones where you playing as a strong female. I'm surprised your agent didn't tell you about this, but wait, what if your agent did? I think your agent is the person who told you that this would be a good idea. Because as far as she's concerned, she just see dollar signs. But understand, you 4 flops in. You can't stay at the top and be the it girl when every single movie that you are the lead in flops. Keep that in mind. That's why she out here all apologetic right now. But I will say it is funny. I guess all them good genes don't help that much at the box office, huh?
I don't have much to say on the situation, and it's going to be short and sweet. It's going to be short and sweet because I don't feel like arguing with a bunch of white supremacists either. But I love when people find out in real time that they aren't bigger than the program like they thought they were. Because when you had the opportunity, like you literally had to sit down, you had the opportunity, and it was at the height of controversy, at the height of everything, you sat there and said, I just like jeans. I just literally love a good skinny jean. And then sat there and said, when I have an issue that I want to speak on, I'll speak on it. As if people was associating me with white supremacy and I wasn't a white supremacist, and with racism and I wasn't a racist, I would have cleared that shit up absolutely immediately. I would not, like, there's some things you just don't want tied to your name ever, no matter what. And now that the movie started flopping and the people started complaining and nobody want to see you on their screen, I'm against hate. I know now that my silence on this situation. It's like, okay, girl. Okay.
Sweeney got dropped by American Eagle, and now she decides to walk back on everything she's been saying for the past couple of months. And can we talk about the fact that Sydney Sweeney was never going to be that girl? Even since her breakout role in Euphoria, which she was only cast on for 2 things, Sam Levinson knows why he picked her for the role of Cassie. It wasn't for her acting abilities. Sydney Sweeney's looks have carried her career, so it's no surprise that the second she became controversial, that she got dropped, because it was not hard, because honestly, who...
Brooke's getting political again. Yep, and today's topic of discussion is Sydney Sweeney. Or as Frankie from Basement Yard said, Sydney Sweeney, more like big titty meanie. Anyway, part of me thinks I shouldn't even be platforming this woman. We should just stop talking about her. However, it's also important to talk about women like her because this is how racism and white supremacy flies under the radar in Hollywood. So if you somehow don't know, Sydney Sweeney did an American Eagle jean ad, and it very much was giving Brooke Shields' Calvin Klein ad, where 1, they're just over-sexualizing women. 2, they're pushing this idea of good genes, as in genetics, and they use a blonde, blue-eyed white woman to promote that. And the entire campaign was just underlining with eugenics propaganda and white supremacy. Then, she not only did the ad, I mean, she read the script, she knew the script, she filmed the ad, she doubled down on it in a GQ interview. And she was like, I did a jean ad, and I love jeans. And then when she was asked about how she felt with Trump talking about her, she said, it was surreal. It was surreal. Okay, so, right. She had ample opportunity to speak out and basically show a stance against white supremacy and the eugenics propaganda in her campaign, and she did not. But now, she got a new Bob and a new publicist, and all of a sudden, she doesn't stand with hate. But the thing is, does she not stand with hate, or does she not stand with hate against her? Because when POCs and minorities were saying that her campaign felt like a direct attack and was pushing white supremacy, she had nothing to say. When it was spreading hateful propaganda towards other groups of people, she doubled down on it. But now she doesn't support hate because she's been getting hated on. Her response saying she doesn't support hate is purposely vague because she's hoping that people just react by saying, oh, okay, she did stand up against the hateful propaganda from her campaign. But no, she's not specifying and she's not being specific on purpose. And people will move on and they'll forgive her because she made a statement. Like in People magazine, she said people have been assigning her motives and labels that aren't true and that she doesn't support. But why didn't she directly say those motives or those labels? Why didn't she say, no, I denounce white supremacy? Why did she just say, no, I don't support the things people are saying? Why not make a direct, solid stance against white supremacy? That's exactly how racism flies under the radar in Hollywood. She said, and I quote, so I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. This is literally a PR response of her not actually taking a side and just saying, I just want everyone to be happy and get along. That is the same thing a homophobic person would say after saying they don't think gay people should have the right to marry. But I just want everyone to be happy. You want everyone to be happy in your view and your mindset of thinking. I mean, look at Mark Wahlberg. He still has a platform. Morgan Wallen still has a platform because they made a statement against racism, against hate. And we have to remember, she filmed this campaign, she read the script, and the microaggressions are so obvious that there's no way she was completely oblivious to what this campaign was really pushing. Her saying, oh, I don't stand with hate is the same as saying, well, you know, I'm just not political. That is somebody soft launching that they're hardcore Republican. Just saying.
So what brand partnerships, what money did Sydney Sweeney lose to come out and be like, wait, you guys, I know I've waited for almost 6 months to say anything, but I'm against hate. In case you missed it, she released a statement saying like, I just want to clarify a few things. And it's like, girl, that's like 49 news cycles ago. What do you mean you want to clarify something now? Which just goes to show that she's losing money, right? Like some things or people who have already given her money are like, you've got to say something, which I don't know how that didn't happen again 48 news cycles ago, but it apparently didn't. There's some role she's being considered for, or there is some massive partnership that they would bring her on for, except she hasn't spoken out about this. Mark my words, in the next like 3 to 4 weeks, there will be a huge announcement for her career. It will either be like a Dior campaign, or I don't know, something that kind of puts her into luxury, or it'll be a role that will not work without the presence of liberal women going to the cinema to watch her, right? Because that is what happened with the boxer movie. And they learned their lesson there. So let's see.
The thing that's like really cracking me up about this Sydney Sweeney thing is like, it's very much giving too big for your britches, overinflated sense of self. Because as a person who did not watch Euphoria, I don't really watch TV like that. I'm a movie girl. In my mind, Sydney Sweeney is not famous. If you did not watch Euphoria, you do not know who she is outside of like internet controversy. Like, between seasons of Euphoria, when they're not talking about Euphoria, the first time I ever heard of her outside of Euphoria was when she was selling bathwater, which is like, that's corny for you to be on a HBO show. Like, that's just so corny. And then after that, I didn't hear from her again until the jeans thing. And I saw the movie about the boat that she was on. I saw previews for that briefly. Didn't really hear much about that after. And then after that, I found out she had another movie. She's in movies. That's news to me. So to think you were so famous that you could like openly be racist and then try to play in that. Here's the thing about the GQ interview. Because let's just, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So she's recently tried to apologize for the racist ad and said she didn't realize that people would be upset, whatever. Unfortunately, that ship has sailed. The ship sailed because you did the GQ interview. Now, I will say that even because the ad came out like back to school time, so like July, August, and then the GQ ad was like last month or October. So like even then there was a big gap of time, really. But if you never said anything and then the first time you speak about it, it's the apology, excuse me, I think people will be willing to like even pretend to believe you. But because you did the GQ interview where you got a softball question from somebody who clearly was not going to press you, and you told that lady, if I cared to talk about it, I would. Cut the cameras, dead ass. She saw her movie flop. She thought that movie was going to be $1 Million Baby. She thought that was going to be her moment. She thought she was about to get an Oscar. Once her movie started flopping, I bet you them bookings and them callbacks have halted to a stop. Didn't Zendaya and them say they're not doing press tours for her? Is this the last season of Euphoria? She's realizing that the fan base you're pandering to, racist people, they actually don't have any money. You thought the same demographic of people complaining about illegal immigrants who make pennies an hour taking their jobs was gonna spend money on bathwater, jeans from American Eagle, and movie tickets? Do you know how much people who are small-minded and racist usually don't support the arts? That's not your that can't be your demographic. And this is how you're learning it. And unfortunately, you will fade into obscurity solely because of this. When Euphoria ends, we will never hear from you again. They said that I think she was in 4 movies this year, which is news to, I am an avid moviegoer. That is news to me. But it makes sense because they said that all those movies combined grossed $2 million. That's abysmal. It's like you just can't help but laugh because it's like, girl, obviously, who are y'all hiring? I have a PR degree. Who are y'all? Where did y'all go to school? I'm so confused. You played yourself and you could have saved it. But because you thought you was that bitch, you got some big titties, we could all go buy big titties. Titties are not expensive. Okay? You thought that you could flip your box blonde hair in our face and tell us if you cared, you'd talk about it. Well, if we cared, we'd go see her.
Must have just got a new publicist. She is just now saying that she doesn't support the views that people connected her American Eagle campaign to. The full quote is, "I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and I love the brand. Should I do the voice? I don't support the views some people choose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Okay, I'm not going to do the full voice anymore. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against the hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I have come to realize that my silence regarding the issue has only widened the divide and not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of divides us. Which, Sydney, me too. Or should I say, Sydney's publicist, me too. So no, she didn't have the stance of never respond to positive or negative press, because when the movie started tanking that she thought was going to get her an Oscar nomination, she had a lot of stuff to say about that. And look, if this is the new Sydney Sweeney take, then I'm glad. I'm happy for it. Even if it's fake, I would rather have our celebrities faking having empathy and being nice than going with this new cultural norm of just being a jaded ass. I'd rather have our celebrities apologize when they do shitty things than just stay silent. I don't like that being the norm either. So even if this statement is fake, I'm glad it's being made, honestly. If she didn't write it, who cares? She found someone who can write it, and now here it is. That's what you should be doing as a celebrity. You should be trying to come off as a good person, not this, oh, when I have something to say, you'll hear from me. This is not the time to be that person. So I'm just glad to see a step in the right direction, honestly. Because then when people look up to celebrities or see people who they think are as aspirational and glamorous, that if they say, oh, like they're a good person and they like value human life and human beings and want equality, then like that makes the world a better place. So even if this is a fake publicist damage control statement, at least it's something positive in the...
It's just so funny that denouncing YT supremacy is finally on Sydney's list of to-dos. It only took what should have been her groundbreaking performance in Christie flopping and rumors that they were trying not to show her as much in Euphoria to make this a topic worth Sydney's time. Because it was only back in September that she did the GQ ad where she was asked directly about the backlash from the Jean ad, and if she thinks it's appropriate for YT people to be joking about Jean superiority. With her response then literally just being like, I did a Jean ad, I love jeans. But now she is telling People magazine that anybody who knows her knows that she does not support division, and that she is surprised at the reaction that the Jean ad got, and stating very clearly, I do not support the views that some people decided to connect to the campaign. That is a far cry from the look that she gave the interviewer. You would have really thought you went to backhand this lady for literally giving her an opportunity to clear everything up. And had she taken that opportunity then, I think she would have gotten a way different response than she's gonna get now. Because as I said on my podcast, Your Point of View, go check it out, I knew she was gonna double back.
Sydney Sweeney's movies failing recently really does give me hope that most people, or at least most people that can really affect like the financial, the bottom dollar, aren't insane racist. Like, I know the people in power are, but it just made me feel like at large the consumer of films and movies, and it's like, okay, that makes me feel slightly hopeful, right? Just a tad bit. And then when I was at the movies today, I saw that Sydney Sweeney is playing in, I believe, the lead role of the motherfucking housemaid. And when I tell y'all I'm pissed off, because I was all excited until I remembered, oh bitch, we mad at racist ass Eugenics pushing Sydney Sweeney right now, and they've made her the main character of motherfucking Frida McFadden's The Housemaid. I'm upset.
The check didn't clear, did it? It bounced in a big way. I don't want to see a single Hollywood exec talk about how they can't greenlight this project, they can't cast this person because they don't have enough followers, but then you're putting flop Tina in another film.
It's Golden Globe nomination day. As always, there were lots of surprises and a few snubs, which Deadline covered in this article. headlines here, but Catherine Bigelow and John Chu getting snubbed for Best Director, Wicked getting snubbed for Best Picture. The ones that I find very interesting is Sydney Sweeney getting snubbed for Christie. She did herself such a disservice with that American Eagle jeans ad and with her lack of response to it. She just came out with a statement a few days ago saying, oh, you know, it wasn't political. And I was so surprised about the way everybody took it, but it was too little too late. And I think it's easy to forget that Hollywood is a really political town. You know, when you are campaigning for a Globe or campaigning for an Oscar, it's not necessarily about what the best picture is. It's about who the town perceives is the most worthy of it. And I really don't know what she was thinking with that whole thing because, you know, she's been trying to land a really juicy role for a few years now. I know this from behind the scenes. And I think she's a good actress. You know, I think she has proven that she can handle a meaty acting role. But the problem is when you alienate the audience that's going to go see you in that role, not a good idea. Not a
Sweeney, how you would have had every single gay person in the United States at every single movie theater in the country if you would have just actually gone with the people that support art. To me, she is the modern day Benedict Arnold of Hollywood, a traitor. Which, if you compare him to today's standards, especially today's political standards, he really did not do anything that traitorous. It's just something that's changed over time, not a misconception like the Boston Massacre. 5 people died. It was nothing crazy. Crazy is understanding quantum mechanics and understanding how to manipulate the reality in front of you. Like, the molecules in your phone have arranged me to be there right now, and like, you see me, but I'm not here. I'm in the astral realm of perpetual torment. But like, can I really call it torment when Jaclyn Hill is not getting engagement these days? Like, that is torment. That is the torment that like the average person is facing, you know? And like, I don't know how she's gonna get through this. Maybe she can do what Kim Kardashian did and like take a brain scan to figure out she's an idiot so that she can get a Neuralink. And Elon Musk can...
5 months, Sydney Sweeney finally made a statement about the American Eagle jean ad. Back in July, Sydney Sweeney partnered with American Eagle to make a jean ad. And long story short, it sparked a lot of controversy. Within the last 5 months, Sydney Sweeney has kept silent about her views on all the controversy. But after People magazine interviewed Sydney Sweeney, Sydney finally opened up about her reaction towards all the drama. She says, I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love jeans and love the brand. I don't support the views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press. But recently, I've come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has widened the divide. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. I'm sorry, but it took you 5 months to finally...
Learn from Sydney Sweeney. If anything you ever do is associated with one of the most despicable groups in human history, and then you get an interview and they ask you, hey, do you mess with that one despicable group in human history? Say no. Hubris. Hubris is what would be responsible for Sydney Sweeney falling off 100%. Hubris caused by not really reading the room, which as time goes along is becoming more obvious. Very few people have the ability to do. See, you thought the people who were voicing that they support your ad were supporting you. They don't support you. They never supported you. They were doing it to be annoying to other people, but you didn't put 2 and 2 together. You thought they liked you. You're an actress from Euphoria. They can't name anything else that you've been in. They probably had to search that, and now it is 100% too late. Break out that crown of thorns. You're gonna be in a Mel Gibson movie.
Differences between someone like me and Sydney Sweeney, among many things, if I somehow did an ad and it was perceived as hate-filled and despicable and anti a group that I'm not part of, you know what I would do? I would trip over myself running to clarify that I want no part of that I don't agree with that I don't believe in that. And I would return and restore my character, my good character, my word, because in life, that is all you have. And I would want to make sure that the people that I affected understood that I don't agree with that. But you know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't go into interviews saying things like, well, yeah, I mean, the ad speaks for itself, so let's talk about my latest movie. That's what she did.
And now that her movies are flappity flap flop, she's now apologizing. She's going into interviews saying things like, well, I want to apologize and clarify. It's too late, sweetie. It's too late, Sweeney. It's too little too late. Because you didn't care before, and now you only care because you need us. So, sorry, not sorry. What do you guys think? Comment section now open. My name's Jody. I am a storyteller. I share stories and observations. If you like my stories, please go ahead and push the message.
Now she's finding out the hard way. She's finding out that you don't just do things and just think that you don't consider people's feelings. When this lady went to do this jean advert, I brought the video here where you can literally, she's doing, oh, they're so sweet. They're so... Whenever you're doing as a celebrity, I keep saying it, don't think that your fan base are not important. They are very important. In fact, they are the main reason why you are a selling point. They are the main reason why you are still in business. That is one thing a lot of people do not realize, especially a lot of these celebrities. And that is why it's looking more like Black Americans are very good in doing business, in being successful in music careers and every other career than the white folks, because they know how to manage audience. They have that ability to manage audience. They don't just go ahead and do things because they want to do it. They don't just go ahead and take opportunities that they feel like is going to be detrimental to their fan base. Now she's coming out explaining to us, oh, she actually did it because she really loved the gene, not for anything extra. She would have come up all this while to say something. She would have come up all this while to apologize. She would have come up all this while to at least make a reasonable commentary out there. Even when Zendaya actually decided that she was not actually doing the red carpet with her. I brought out that video as well. That was, I think, last month or last 2 months or so. And this lady stayed because she feel like we are not important. Now that the business is shutting down, because on daily basis, she is losing. She is losing. Instead of you to be getting 64% higher sales or 64% higher of everything you're doing, you're getting 64% down. Like, it's a whole lot that you're losing out. And that is why I keep saying it. Some of the celebrities will be like, it doesn't matter, let them boycott me. Some people that would still love me. It's not matter of some people that will still love you. The people that have been there for you all this while, why not try to preserve those same people? Why not try to make them feel important? Why not try to let them know that I am nothing without you guys? Because God will not come down from heaven and do it for you by himself. He will send people, especially when you are a celebrity. People's opinion should matter. You don't just go ahead, take brand deals, and just feel like, after all, I'm just getting paid. You will get paid that once, and at the end of the day, those brand deals actually destroy every single thing that you're already building. Her business is shutting down. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. I really want to hear from you guys. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do what? Subscribe, like this video, drop me your comment, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do what like always in my videos. I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys.